Hello and welcome to 60 Seconds of Skal. My name is DJ Calloway and I've just stepped down from spinning some vibes on my decks to introduce you to another 60 Seconds of Skal victim. Today's special guest is an industry identity with a reputation far beyond her stomping ground down by Victoria's Western Port Bay. She is known the industry-wide equally as a highly professional and successful agency owner, but also as a good time, fun time lady around town, often seen with a glass of something bubbly in one hand and 38 inches of willow in the other. We'll talk about that later on. In the meantime, welcome to 60 Seconds of Skal, Jacqui Rogers.
Thank you, Richard.
And your time starts now. Tell us a bit about you and what do you do?
I am a full-time domestic engineer along with being a travel agency owner, and have had my agency for 20 years as of December this year.
Good Lord. How long have you been in the industry all up?
32 years.
Actually, I knew the answer to that because I understand that you joined the industry straight from school in about 1989. Is that correct?
I joined the industry in 1989 with first employed by Mark Windsor at Prima Holidays.
I think we all know Mark. And what did you want to do when you grew up?
I wanted to be a linguist.
A linguist. In fact, I understand that you do speak another language. What language is that?
I do. I speak Swedish.
And how did you come by that skill, Jacqui?
I spent 12 months on Rotary Youth Exchange living in Sweden when I was 17.
And whereabouts in Sweden did you go to school?
I went to school in a small village called Hudiksvall, which is about 300 kilometres north of Stockholm and about 300 kilometres south of the Arctic Circle.
And interestingly, Jacqui, from Bairnsdale, where you grew up, to Hudiksvall in Sweden is in fact 15,601 kilometres as the crow flies. Jacqui, but that makes me think, could you have possibly got any further away from your family at that age?
No, and that was the whole idea.
Well, given your interest in everything Swedish, I want you to answer these questions very quickly. Who was your favourite member of ABBA?
That would have to be Agneta.
Me too. And do you enjoy shopping in IKEA?
Yes, I do.
And can you understand the Swedish chef from the Muppets?
I don't think he speaks really in Swedish tongue.
Must be a different dialect. On a more serious note, Jacqui, and I want you to think very carefully before answering, which AFL team do you support?
Hawthorn.
Now, are you sure about that?
Positive.
Interesting. Let's move on. I'm told in your spare time you enjoy playing cricket. Do you prefer being a bats person or a bowler person?
Well, these days I'm just making up the numbers, but back in the day I was a bats person.
Jacqui, it's interesting you should say that because I've done a little bit of research, and according to the Victorian Turf Cricket Association, you played in fact 19 matches in your recent career, and you've got a glorious high score of 6 at a less than respectable average of 5.67. It's fair to say you've got a little bit more improvement in you.
My excuse is I always hold up the end while someone else makes all the runs, and I did retire about 20 years ago, and I just seem to have come back into playing full-time in the last year or so.
Can I suggest you might in fact be holding the wrong end of the bat, but we'll move on. How long have you been a member of Skal?
I think since it was after the Black Saturday bushfires, I think the February after I joined as a member. Mark Windsor was president at that time. I think around 2008.
I remember Mark's presidency very well. And what do you enjoy about Skal?
The fellowship and networking opportunities.
When was your last lunch? Do you remember?
February.
And
AGM.
Who did you sit with at the table?
I sat with Jane Tanti, and I can't remember who else.
And tell me, Jacqui, if you were trapped in a mine shaft with 3 Skalleagues, who would you choose them to be?
I would have to be Tony. Graham, Kerry Walker, and probably President Tara, I'd say.
And perhaps can you think of one person that you would ideally not be trapped in a mine shaft with?
That's a very difficult question. I wouldn't want to answer that on the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
Good answer. And finally, you've seen quite a few Skal presidents in your time. Who has been your favourite Skal president?
Oh, it definitely have to be President Tara.
That again is a very strategic and intelligent answer. And as you can hear, your time is up. Jacqui, thank you very much for being on 60 Seconds of Skal.
Thank you.